Oh, hey, what's up? I didn't see you there. I'm just getting ready to talk about today's stick science, which I think is going to be a little rundown of some warm-up routines that I like to do before I practice and play. Okay, so when I say warm-up, I don't actually mean doing calisthenics and stuff like that, but there is merit to the comparison there. So playing an instrument actually does have a lot of similarities to athletics. So I always find it really important to warm up before I practice and before I play live and before I record and stuff like that. I find that you know, especially for performance and recording, if I don't warm up beforehand, I've got, you know, maybe like 50-50, I'm going to do well, I'm going to kind of make stupid mistakes, but if I warm up first, you know, that drops down to maybe 75% that I'm going to do well, 25% I'm going to make stupid mistakes, maybe even farther than that. It just prepares me to do better. And I think that there's something to be said about the similarities between the physical aspects of playing music and athletics that kind of speak toward the necessity of warming up. And that is, you know, it requires a lot of really fine hand-eye coordination. You know, it's not just a simple thing to press all the right frets and play them the right way that you want them. It's really a very dexterous thing to have to do. You've got fine muscle control and fine motor control. All of the muscles in your forearms are working to move your tendons to make sure that your fingers go the right way. And you've got to be well practiced and well rehearsed. Just like in sports, you know, you're going to be drilling and you're going to be practicing and you're going to make sure that you've got all of your techniques down and stuff like that. So let's take today to talk about some of the warm-up techniques that I go through before I perform and before I play at all, pretty much. So the first thing I want to show you are some stretches that I like to do, and I do these before I touch the stick and intermittently through my finger exercises that I warm up with as well. And the first one that I'm going to do is pretty simple. You just take, you know, kind of at the second knuckle, place it on your forearm, and stretch your fingers back as you straighten out your elbow. Now, if this hurts to do, don't do it. But I find that if you ease yourself into it, not slamming your arm like that, but just kind of easing yourself into it, then it should help stretch out right around here. Which is a great thing to have stretched out because that is exactly the muscle that moves your fingers, or part of it anyway, and definitely the muscle that moves your thumb, centered down here, right? And the other part is up here. And so then I just go in reverse, take the back of my hand and put it in my other palm, just push. Again, you should not be hurting yourself. This is just a light stretch, right? So, just like that. The other hand, there, there. I'll usually count to like a slow 20, a slow 30 for each hand. And then the next thing I do is I want to splay my fingers as much as I can. And to help that out, I take my thumb and my forefinger of my other hand and I stick them in between and just help spread them out like that, right? This just kind of helps stretch out the side-to-side involvement in your hands. I mean, that's not a real thing, side-to-side involvement. But you know what I mean. It just helps get your fingers stretched out. Just like that, all the way through. Other hand, and bam. Make sure to crack your knuckles. Don't actually do that. I mean, you know, it doesn't really make a difference, but whatever. So once my fingers are all stretched out, then I pick up the stick and I move through a series of finger patterns across the strings that kind of just help, you know, briefly remind my hands how to do this, right? And it's all done based off of different permutations of your fingers. So the first one that we're going to do is just 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Those are your fingers, right? First finger, second finger, third finger, fourth finger. And I just go up the strings. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And back down in reverse. 1, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 1, 4, 3, 2, 1, 4, 3, 2, 1, 4, 3, 2, 1, 4, 3, 2, 1. Right? And I'll do that with both hands in 2 different locations on the stick at the same time. Just like that. And I'm looking to get that as smooth as I possibly can, up and down. I want to make sure that each note is ringing out evenly, and that my string changes don't stick out too much, right? And then I start doing permutations off of the patterns. I've written every one of the permutations down in the exercises on my Patreon page. But really, you know, if we're just talking about fingers 1, 2, 3, and 4, right, it's just different combinations. So instead of going 1, 2, 3, 4, I might go 1, 3, 2, 4. And then reverse that on the way down. 4, 2, 3, 1. 4, 3, 2, 4, 2, 3, 1. 4, 2, 3, 1. And if you do the math, there are 24 different finger combinations to do. And like I said, I've written down each one of the combinations on the exercises for this particular video. And these are really great warm-ups. One, you know, I run through like 4 or 5 different patterns before each show. But two, getting each one of these patterns smooth is going to do amazing things for your technique and dexterity. Really what you're doing is you're training your brain and your hands to be able to pick any finger on any string in any order. And that, I think, if you're going to play an instrument that is so heavily based on playing the right notes, which is really any instrument, that's a really important skill to have and to cultivate. So I would definitely take time and just like work your way through these combinations. And, you know, this isn't something that, you know, maybe it's something that you practice if you're just getting started. As like a dedicated part of your practice, but over time this should just become something that works its way into the first 5 minutes of your playing, right? Like I said, these are 5-minute warm-ups. This should be, if the stretching is the first minute, this is minute 2 through 3, and you know, should just help you. And by the time I'm warmed up, you know, my exercises are sounding something like this. Right, and I'm still trying to be smooth, but I'm also trying to be fast. And I'm just preparing my hands for the work that they're about to do. Alright, so now we've done, you know, all of our fingers on one string before moving to the next. We're going to take the same concept and move it across the strings, right? And I usually do it in sets of 4 strings. We have, on each side of the Chapman stick, we have 2 sets of 4 strings. Like that. So the first thing that we're going to do is still just do 1, 2, 3, 4, but now we're going to do it across the strings. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then move up a string set. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we're going backwards. 1, 2, 3, 4, down a string set. 1, 2, 3, 4. Both hands. Hideous, right? Good. It's not supposed to sound musical. This is purely a physical exercise. And then to take that a step farther, we split up the order of our fingers again, and you can do this 2 ways, right? You can do always the adjacent strings, so even if I'm doing, let's say 1, 3, 2, 4, right? I'm still going 1 string to the next, so that'll be on my 5th string, the first finger will be on my 5th string, the 3rd finger will be on my 4th string, the 2nd finger will be on my 3rd string, and then the 4th finger will be on my 2nd string, and so on and so forth. And then I jump. That one can be a little weird. And then you can also do it as though the strings themselves line up with the fingers. So now, as I skip 2 frets to get to my 3rd finger, I also skip up 2 strings. Just like that. And again, with both of these, I can do any one of the 24 combinations across the strings, and it just helps your knowledge of where your fingers are trying to move, and you know, it helps instill accuracy and smoothness in your playing, as well as being a great warm-up. And finally, if I'm performing, especially if I'm performing or recording, the very end of my warm-up is me just playing through the hardest parts of my set and making sure that those are really smooth and making sure that those are at the forefront of my mind, right? Especially with Geff. Geff is really hard. That music is hard to play. So I'll spend a decent portion of my warm-up just running through each song in our set and picking out the absolute most technical parts for me. So, you know, like if we're playing some of the stuff coming up off of our new album, like our song Get Your Insignificance On, I've got a part that goes like this. That's hard to play. And so I make sure that I give that a little bit of focus before our set every time. Or if I'm playing, you know, another tune, whole body headbang, right? We've got that part in the middle of it where I'm playing chords in the right hand, and I'm playing what was originally a two-handed half-crossed line in the left hand with one hand. Make sure to give that some special attention and a little bit of love and elbow grease before we go on our set. And you can use exercises that you have been working on in your own time as well. You know, like let's say you're working on a method to get quickly from one end of the pentatonic scale to the next. That makes for a perfectly acceptable warm-up. Basically, all you're trying to do is just ready your hands for however much playing you're going to do in the future. And the best way to do that is to play the instrument, right? But one really important thing that I don't think I've mentioned yet is that first you want to start slow, and as you're doing these exercises and as you're doing, you know, whatever it is in your warm-up routine, you start slow, and then as you're feeling warmer and warmer, you start to speed up. And really be paying attention to the tension in your forearms and the tension in your shoulders, and staying loose and being technical and being accurate and stuff like that. And if you can do all that, then you're really not going to have much of a problem at all. So that's about it for my warm-up routine. It's not always that strict. Sometimes I'll just do like 1 or 2 permutations and spend the rest of the time, you know, playing parts for the set that's coming up, or sometimes I only do permutations. You know, if the music that I'm playing is not as challenging, or if we just had rehearsal the previous day or something and I'm feeling good about it, like I'll just play the permutations and get my hands all warmed up. But the point is, I do this every time before I perform. I do this before I record. I usually do it before I'm practicing unless I'm feeling especially lazy that day. And it's just a good habit to get into. It helps avoid injury. It helps you be prepared every time. And it helps you walk into your set ready to go, right? You don't want to be getting ready to go as you're about to perform. You want to be ready to go as soon as it's time to downbeat. So this is just the ways that I employ to make sure that I'm prepared. Thanks for watching. Keep exploring.